This is episode 10 of the Dragon Ball Insider podcast, taking place on August 20th, 2015. What's going on, guys? This is Anthony here from DragonBallInsider.com. Today I'm here with my co-host Anthony Kavanaugh, ADC Art Attack on Instagram. What's going on, Anthony? How have you been?
Hello, I've been good. How are you?
Not bad, man. Any new projects you got going on lately in terms of your artwork and whatnot?
Yes, sir. With the new movie coming out, I've got so much work kind of revolving around the actual movie, so that's pretty awesome. It's great they've
By
got
movie,
yeah, Resurrection
by
F.
movie you mean Resurrection F? Okay, yeah.
Yep. So I got a new pair of shoes that is just gonna be amazing. It's like the whole shoe is gonna have like the entire fight scene, so
Right.
it's pretty intense what's gonna happen on those. So I look forward to doing them. Big project.
Very, very cool. Is it specifically for someone, or is it just
This
gonna
one's
have someone
This
a
is
bit
for a
more?
friend. No, this one's for a
Okay,
friend. This is for someone who has bought something from me previously and supported my work, so it's kind of for them.
gotcha. Well, we certainly have a lot of Resurrection F stuff going on, so let's just keep this intro short, and we're gonna get right into the news. And our main topic for today will, of course, be the movie, and our news, of course, is basically on the movie as well. So let's just begin and get the show on the road. All right.
Alrighty, let's do it.
Okay, so we only have a little bit of news this time around, but most of it pertains to the Resurrection F theatrical release. So our first bit of news is the box office figures for here in North America. So the movie had its theatrical run that began on the 4th and ended on the 12th officially, but they had an encore presentation of the movie that took place over the course of a few days after the fact. So on August 4th, the movie opened in 894 theaters across North America, and it brought in $1.97 million, which landed it at the number 6 spot overall in terms of box office growth, and first place overall in average dollar per screen at $2,198. Now, to put this into perspective, Battle of Gods, the 2013 movie, opened up in 652 theaters, and it only brought in 1.7 million. So clearly it did way better than Battle of Gods. So with that said, in just 2 days, the film brought in roughly $3.5 million, whereas Battle of Gods brought in 2.5 over the entire 8-day run. So in just 2 days of time, it already blew Battle of Gods out of the water, which is awesome. And as I previously mentioned, following the completion of its official theatrical run, the film has grossed over $8.4 million, landing it at the 9 spot on the top 10 highest grossing anime films in North America of all time, which is awesome. And worldwide, to date, the film has grossed $60.3 million, and this is just on a $5 million budget. So overall, I think we could say that this movie has been a success worldwide, which is awesome. So, in other news, we have information on home video releases, which is also great. So the first announcement for home video release was, of course, the Japanese version, but the Manga UK actually has listings up on Amazon, and this happened, I believe, on August 7th, where Amazon UK put up a pre-order listing for the DVD, Blu-ray, and also Battle of Gods / Resurrection F combo pack for the Resurrection F home release. Now, the Blu-ray is listed at just over £16, the DVD is listed at just over £15, and the combo pack is listed at just under £21, and these will all be releasing on the 26th of October. Now, how is this in terms of pricing, Ant? I mean, I'm not really sure how things are with sales of DVD and Blu-ray over there, but is this a reasonable price? Is it expensive? I mean, you tell me.
My personal opinion, I think this is a little expensive.
Yeah.
Being it was a good movie and being it's Dragon Ball, it sounds reasonable to me as a fan. But I think in general, this may deter some sort of newbies. If you don't know what Dragon Ball is, then I'm I'm worried about how you live. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think this could I don't know. I think some people might be a little bit skeptical about buying this for that kind of price. I think it's a little high price considering cinema tickets, especially where I live to watch it in cinema, are around this price as well. So I mean, what would you rather do? Watch it in a cinema or watch it on this? It's a lot of money.
Well, in terms of American dollars, how much is 16 pounds?
I think that's around the $25 mark.
And that is for the Blu-ray, which here the Blu-ray is $35.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's so
So
it's considerably cheaper here then. That's
it seems that way, but let's figure that out. You know what? Let me go over the North American home release numbers, and we'll actually base it off of that.
yeah, sure.
So, in addition to the home video release for the UK, Funimation actually announced today that they are taking pre-orders for the film, and the film will be also come in three packages: a Blu-ray/DVD combo pack at $34.98, standalone DVD at $29.98, and also a collector's edition at $59.98. And all of these will be released on October 10th, 2015 as well. So, as you stated before, 16 pounds for the Blu-ray, which I'm sure the Blu-ray is going to come with the DVD as well, is 16 pounds for you in the UK, and it's almost $35 here in the US, and the DVD is at $29.98. So yeah, it's considerably cheaper there.
Yeah, that's quite odd. Things
21 pounds.
things
How much is that?
£21 in US dollars.
Correct.
21 pounds in dollars is 1.6. So how much is 1.6 on top of that? It's tricky to work out. Oh god, the maths. It's about $40, something like that.
Yes. So you're not getting as much as we are in terms of the goodies that's going to be associated with the collector's edition, because here it's about $60, but the collector's edition itself is going to be coming with 4 holographic Frieza Force postcards, in the making footage, and cast/red carpet interviews and footage, and also a different packaging with the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Goku on the front of it. So, you know what? It definitely is a little pricey. I mean, especially since you can get the DVDs and Blu-rays a lot cheaper. I'm actually going to look it up right now and see what Battle of Gods is going for, and I don't remember what it went for from the start, but I don't remember it being $35.
I remember purchasing it on the PlayStation Network, and it was very much cheaper on the PlayStation Network. I remember the day it released; it was around £5-6, so it was definitely a lot cheaper on the PSN than it is in stores.
So digital download's cheaper, but get this. Okay, so right now, Amazon has Battle of Gods listed at $20, but originally $34.98. So I guess it's the same. I'd have to do some looking back on things, but I really don't feel like it's necessary. But it is a little pricey, but I mean, it's a Dragon Ball film, and people are going to buy it anyway. So
yeah,
but I'll probably
buy it.
Yeah, exactly. There is a pre-order code you could use if you're going to be buying in North America. You use the promo code DBZRF, the hashtag DBZRF, and I believe you get a $10 gift card off of whatever package or edition you decide to go with, which is, I mean, it's $10 nonetheless, but it's still a good deal. So, but with that said, that's really all the news we have for today. And we're going to just jump right into our main topic. We're going to talk all things Resurrection F. We're going to discuss the premiere that we had in New York City, and it's going to be a good conversation, so let's get this started. Okay, so as I stated before, our main topic for today is going to be the English dub of Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. Now, to kick things off, we attended a red carpet premiere in New York City on August 3rd, which was essentially the beginning to the theatrical event that started on August 4th and ran to the 12th. Now, we actually got invited to go to this event as members of the media to cover it, and we were also given the opportunity to do a giveaway in which Funimation provided us with a set of 30 tickets, all of which had a +1, and we gave them all away. We gave them to a bunch of fans through our Instagram account, through our website, Twitter, Facebook, and whatnot. And we met up with all of these people at an AMC in New York City at a red carpet event, and it was awesome. We got to meet a ton of people. Myself and Uchi went there. Uchi Rojas, he's another member of Dragon Ball Insider. And we hung out with a bunch of fans, looked at the red carpet, we spoke to a bunch of the actors, Chris Sabat. We spoke to Sean Schemmel, and we actually got to conduct an interview with Sean Schemmel that we're going to show you guys and let you listen to it. So with that said, this is our interview that we conducted myself with Sean Schemmel at the Resurrection F premiere in New York City. How you doing, Anthony from DragonBallInsider.com?
You got a thing that says DragonBallInsider.com.
Yes,
awesome.
I do.
Thank
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Dragon Ball seems to be a franchise that just keeps coming back. It's 30 years old plus. What is it about events like these that makes things so popular and just keeps coming back?
Well, I mean, breaking down Akira Toriyama's magic formula is hard to do, and the guy is proving with the last two movies that he is not retired and he is has not lost his touch and he's at the top of his game. So I'm super impressed with him in that regard. I'm not, on the one hand, I'm also not surprised. It's almost like the nature of Dragon Ball, how episodes keep getting, the power levels keep getting higher and things keep getting more. And when you think it's over, it continues. It's also kind of not surprising that the art has bled into the very life of the show itself in terms of popularity.
Right.
Like it's like no accident, you know what I mean? And so I don't know if that's the secret reason. It's in our unconscious, and so we feel like it has to go more, or because of decisions made in Japan, or something very practical like that. I don't really know. I think fighting has a lot to do with it. I think strong character development. I think Akira Toriyama's genius is part of it. I also think that the fact that it's based on an ancient Asian mythos, the Great Journey West, is a big part of it. It's the same reason why ancient Greek mythos is represented over and over. Those ancient stories just don't ever die, because I think they're an integral part of our human unconsciousness and our own struggles. So I think Akira Toriyama's tapped into that in a very astute way and has manifested it in an action sci-fi type fighting show.
Well, it's certainly the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, you're working on it. I mean, I'm sure no less than 6 months at a time out of the year.
Oh, well, actually, you'd be surprised. When we were finishing up Dragon Ball Z, I was recording once a month for a solid week at a time, about 12-hour days when I moved away to New York. Other than that, when I was working in Texas, I would go in to record Goku once or twice a week at the most, because I do all my lines for, I could do 3 or 4 episodes in a full day of recording, depending on how my voice held out, So it's, when you add it all up, it's a lot of time, and video games take me, 2 or 3 days to a week, depending on the game. The movie took me, I recorded Resurrection F in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
I'm very quick with the character, and I've been doing it too long. When I first started, it would take me anywhere from 12 to 20 some odd takes for one take. Now I do it in 1 to 3 takes. So, you just get better at it when you're doing it all the time. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, I mean, there are so many people that love the franchise. I mean, you have your geek culture, you have your jock culture. It's just widely accepted by everyone. What do you make of that?
Well, I'm a huge Rush fan, so to me it's just like Rush. Like Rush was has this cult niche following. Then they went to, when they did Rush in Rio a few years ago, they went to Rio de Janeiro and had 60,000 fans show up. They didn't know they had. They were blown away when they got there. And I think, and now they're very mainstream and getting, because they're retiring slowly. They just had not really a farewell tour, but their last concert in Los Angeles the other day, which I wanted to go to. And
I think Kyle was there, right?
Yeah, Kyle was there. I was going to go with him, but I never got tickets, and I screwed up. But yeah, I was going to go. And I think it's very similar in that regard, that it's like this cult following that's so good and so solid. When you make a quality product long enough, eventually the mass is going to notice. You're going to have your niche fans, you're going to have your mainstream fans, but I feel like Dragon Ball Z has officially broken into the mainstream like Pokemon did years ago. And I always joke that Pokemon is a gateway drug to Dragon Ball. So maybe now it's becoming the opposite, maybe, because people are telling me now that Dragon Ball is the first anime they watched, and then they got into Pokemon. I'm like, oh, really? Now we're the gateway drug. So
that's interesting.
That's fine with me.
Let's shift gears towards Resurrection F.
Yes,
it's awesome. I mean, we've seen it.
Thank
we
you.
came out to LA. I actually flew out there. It wasn't cheap, but I flew out there.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, was there anything different in particular recording this movie than any others? I mean, you have a tendency to, when you record different transformations, to change your voice a little bit. Is there a thought process that goes into that?
There is. There are many factors that we're not going to focus into many factors that factor into many things that factor into how I make vocal choices for a character, especially when there's a physical transformation. Some of those things are physical. Some of those things are practical, like I can only scream so high and so loud. But I take a lot of dictation from the character design and how they're drawn. So for Resurrection F, there is a moment where I try to tweak the voice for God mode just a little bit. Only because I didn't in Battle of Gods, because we just decided to go along with, and I don't normally take cues from the Japanese actors, but I noticed we had recorded the God mode for the video game before we did Battle of Gods, and so I decided, and Moscow didn't really change it much, so I decided to keep it the same. For Battle of Gods, I didn't really tweak it, but for Resurrection F, when he's able to sustain Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan on his own, I felt like, well, what would it be like if you had the awareness that you had the abilities of a god? What kind of peace that passeth understanding, or serenity, or what kind of what would that feel like, or what would that sound like? So there's just a couple of moments where Goku's talking, and I tried to add a tonality of serenity. It's very subtle. You might not notice it. If you don't, it's not a big deal. But Goku's kind of transcending here in this in a new way that's beyond anything he's ever done. He's in God mode. That's a much larger implication than Super Saiyan 3.
Absolutely. Now, you heard Frieza was coming back. You
Yes.
know, you certainly did a whole arc with him back in the day.
Yes.
How interesting was that recording with Chris, who, I mean, in my opinion, does an amazing job. His version of Frieza is just incredible.
Chris is goddamn spectacular at Frieza. Like no disrespect to Linda Chambers. She did a great job for Z, and everyone loves her for it. I feel like Chris brought a level to Frieza of erudite and intellectual snobbishness that Frieza has, and this elitist, arrogance that only Chris Ayres can bring. A lot of people say I'm irreplaceable. I think Chris Ayres is irreplaceable for that role, and the speeches are just so much more biting. And they're so well written now, as opposed to when we first started on Z, and we didn't have the staff to do it. So now the quality's just gone way up, and I didn't really get to hear him record, but I think he had recorded some before me, so I got to hear some. And I also listened to his work on Kai, so I to see it all together and us playing off each other was pretty cool. It was really, really cool. I hadn't had that satisfaction in a while. I did with Jason Douglas's Beerus, who's also spectacular. And hopefully he'll join us for Dragon Ball Super. I can't see why he wouldn't, but we don't even know what's going on with that yet. So I wish we did. If we did, I'd just say I know and I can't tell you. But I don't really know what's going on with that show just yet. But I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Sure.
But yeah, Chris Ayres, hearing that all together, really, and the fight scenes are very specific. If you notice, they're very specific martial arts moves. Very, there's some stuff like that, which we all do in real time, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I don't go, I do, like there's a whole bunch of I sweat a lot in the booth. There's a lot of physical work that goes into it. So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for answering
you.
our questions. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting
We just
you.
had a conversation with Sean Schemmel, the voice of Goku, and many others.
And you're watching DragonBallInsider.com, and I only say that because they're the only ones that showed up with the cool square thingy.
Thanks
so I can
again.
say it easily. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so that was my interview with Sean. He's a really cool guy. At first, it was, I'm not going to lie, it was a bit, I was uneasy about what to ask him, but I really wanted to put questions together that I didn't think anyone else has asked before, which, for all I know, people could ask it all the time, but I believe I did a decent job coming up with these questions to ask him. And my personal favorite question that I got to ask him was about how he changes his voice. Now, for those that watch the series and know how Goku goes through his transformations, Sean Schemmel takes an approach on each transformation that he goes through, making each transformation's voice slightly deeper. And I asked Sean, what, if any, is there a thought process that goes into changing and altering Goku's voice? And he said that there is, and it was interesting, his response saying how that Goku has attained, yes, another level, but it's a different sort of level, not only in terms of strength, but also it's a new level spiritually. So he used that to basically gauge and guide his voice into how he would portray the character. And he also stated that he doesn't normally take cues from the Japanese voice actors, just like in Battle of Gods, where he did listen to Masako Nozawa's performance, and she didn't really change her voice when he first transformed into the Super Saiyan God, but he took his own approach in this one. And it's really hard to explain what type of approach he took, because when I first listened to the film, because we received a pre-screener to do a review, which Anthony and I both saw and listened to conduct this review, as soon as I heard his voice when he achieved this new Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan form with the blue hair, it caught me off guard. And I was unsure of how I felt about it. But when I asked him this question, I kind of understood the route he was taking. Now, what did you actually think about this, Anthony? I mean, I know you also saw the screener as well. So when you first heard his voice, what did you think?
It was very nice. I think it took a while to sort of gauge what the sort of transformation voice was. It was a very different voice. There's not really a word to describe what the voice was. It was a very new voice. But I think the nice way to describe it, just going to the GT thing again, but it's Super Saiyan 4. That's what it sort of reminds me of. Super Saiyan 4 with less anger and hatred. It's a sort of I'm a powerful being, but I'm not so cocky now. I sort of know I'm powerful, but I'm very calm and at peace with it. It was just a very different. I don't. It's very hard to describe it. It's crazy. It's just a very
It
tough
really
one to
is.
describe.
It
Um,
is because when I first listened to it, like I I didn't think the voice was consistent throughout the whole film because he did go from
it definitely
sounding with
wasn't.
it. It was deep. It was a warming voice, deep. It was straightforward. Like it's very hard to put in words,
I think
and like
the key
trying to explain it
moments.
is the hard part.
Yeah, I think it's definitely he really sort of exaggerated the key moments. You know, like when he was talking down to Frieza, when he was putting Frieza below his level. That's when his new voice sort of shone. That's when it was like, here's the new voice, because he was like, well, I think you should back down now. It was sort of like a very calm but powerful voice, and very cocksure of himself. It was like, yeah, I'm powerful. You just need to back up and leave. But then he had his goofy voice, which he did with Vegeta midway through. So it was very hard to gauge his actual voice because he changed it so many times during that fight scene. Wasn't like a crazy like mid sentence change. So he wasn't saying one sentence and then switching voices like he couldn't actually act. He was changing them intentionally to fit the mood, to fit whoever he was speaking to, whichever character he was speaking to, or sort of like the message he was trying to get across. You know, when he was fearful, he was like, yeah, this is this voice, and when he was cocksure, he was like, yeah, this is this voice. It was a good change. I liked it. He did good. Well done, Sean.
So, do you think it's safe to say the voice is a combination of powerful, um, him trying to put on this god status voice of like I'm above you, but I'm not gonna make it sound like I'm above you kind of voice,
I
but it's just the voice that I give. It makes it known that I have this god-like ability and power.
I think it definitely does. It sort of harpens to like Vegeta's kind of attitude. He sort of becomes the very cocksure character, and he shows his sort of arrogance and his. I think they actually touch on that quite a bit throughout the series, throughout the movie. Sorry, they do touch on Goku's. I nearly said Kakarot, but they do touch on Goku's. His sort of confidence and his overconfidence, and I think that's what the voice is. It's sort of showing that he is overconfident and he is powerful now. He's definitely a much more powerful opponent now than he ever was. So yeah, he's definitely shows it, and he did good. It was very nice,
Yeah, he definitely had one of his best voice performances in this movies that I've heard in a long time.
definitely.
But anyway, the my other favorite question was when I asked him about Frieza and how he's back and how it differed from that of recording with Linda Young 15 years ago, and then coming back and recording with Chris Ayers as Frieza in 2015, and him like myself, we both totally are on the same page when it says, or when we say that Linda Young's Frieza was good for the audience at the time, but in terms of it representing Frieza, Linda Young's doesn't exactly represent Frieza how he was intended to be. And I think that Chris Ayers' version of Frieza is just incredible. Like, when I first heard the screaming that he did, like when he had his breakdown, when he was freaking out screaming the I am Lord Frieza, blah, blah, blah. Like, he screamed it, and I'm like, oh my god, like, this guy is good. Because I watched Kai, and honestly, it took a little bit getting used to Chris Ayers in Kai, because I did grow up listening to the English dub when it was years ago. But then I started to compare the voices between Chris Ayers and Nakau's in the Japanese version. It's just like they're so similar, and he does a great job. And Schemmel says that he's fantastic. Now, I know that yourself, you were never a big fan of Chris Ayers. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. I was not a fan, and I still, I never watched Kai, and I think that's why I wasn't a fan, because I gave Kai one chance. I didn't give it a second chance. I gave it one chance, and I didn't like it because the nostalgia. I was like, yeah,
Right.
these are the voices. this is not the voice. So
Right.
that was my mentality. And obviously, after watching the movie, I watched it the first time and I heard the voice, and the voice was actually really. It was a lot better in this than I remember hearing in Kai.
It is.
So I don't,
It's tenfold, like way
that's
better, way better.
that's what I'm thinking, because I'm thinking there was definitely a difference there. And then obviously after watching it the first time, I wouldn't say I loved it the first time seeing it, and then I watched it multiple
Really?
times after. Yeah, I didn't really love it. I liked it, and the voice. Okay, the voice acting itself is amazing. I think it's actually one of the best characters in there. The actual voice itself, it's one of the
Right.
best characters. And I think that I can't fault him on that. It's amazing. Fitting Frieza, I don't know. And even after seeing it a couple times after, I loved it even more, and I became definitely in favor of this voice over the Linda Young one. Not to say that it was bad, it's just, as you say, it didn't fit the character. This one definitely fits Frieza a lot more, especially the there's a moment when he's talking to one of his servants, Sorbet, I think it is.
Sorbet,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and he's speaking to me and my ex. I really need to educate myself on French. Sorbet. But yeah, he has like a moment where he's speaking to him, and you can definitely tell he's a leader, and he was showing that he's actually the ruler. Whereas before it was just like he was a spoiled child. He was just really like, the stands, and he was just really angry and just throwing his toys out the pram. But now he definitely seems more of a calm, collected guy. Has a breakdown at one point, as you said, with the scream. And you said the scream was like a really good moment. Me personally, it really resembled for me Majin Buu. The moment when Majin
Really?
Buu's screaming in anger, and I didn't really like it.
Really?
Really, I did. I think it's just because I'm not really in touch with the screams. Whenever I hear screams of high pitch, I'm like, oh boy, no. I just don't.
You
I like.
you really need to listen to the original Japanese.
I think that's the problem, because I am one of the old nostalgic fans who, when the Japanese dub's on, I am just like, no, 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 no. So I think I'm very ignorant in that sense, and I think that's again that's what I want to say to everyone listening to this right now. If you are not a fan of the new voice, watch it again, then watch it again, then watch it again, and just grasp the concept of the character, understand it, and then you will see why the voice is actually much better than the let's call it the original for the
Yeah, the
for
original
us.
English voice.
Yeah, and you'll see exactly where I'm coming from. This is coming from someone who hated the new voice, but now I personally think it's the better one. So it's definitely grown on me, and it's fantastic voice actor. It really is amazing. Whether I think it fits the character, I'm still on the sidelines, because some moments do and some moments don't. But overall, the acting is, I can't fault the acting. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, that's cool that you actually learned to appreciate it and like it. I mean, not many people do, especially the people that are all about, oh, this person's so much better. Like, it's way better because when I watched it when I was a kid, this is what it was and this is how it should be. But it really, Chris Harris does a fucking fantastic job. There's no other way to put it.
You got to remember as well, guys, not to compare whose is better and whose is worse. You've also got to just say to yourself, look, that was the past, and we've always got it. If you love it, that's great, because you've always got it. But now you've got a new take. It's like watching Dragon Ball Z for a second. It's like watching a whole new Dragon Ball Z with new voices. It just brings a whole new character. So you have the past, and you can always love it. You don't have to hate it just because you like the new one. You can like both. So see it like that. Don't feel that this one's replacing your old memories, because it isn't. You still have those. And I still love the old one, but this one is the better voice actor.
Now Schemmel, he actually addressed Dragon Ball Super without us even asking him to, so which was kind of cool. So, and he basically said that he has no idea what's going on with it yet, and even if he did know, he would say, I can't really address it right now, but we'll talk about it another time. But he truly doesn't know what is going on with Super, but in my interview with Chris Sabat, he said that he saw a lot of Super already, and they haven't started working on it, one, because they weren't informed about anything at all, but he did say that he's assuming that they're going to be working on it at one point in time or another. Unfortunately, I don't have the audio for Sabat's to put in this recording, but I'll make a link to our interview, and I'll probably type it up. But there's nothing been confirmed or anything regarding Super. It's just they're both basically assuming that at one point in time they will be working on it, because they do everything else Dragon Ball in English, so why wouldn't this happen? It's just a matter of acquiring the rights and Toei giving up or selling the license to Funimation to record a dub for Super. But with that said, nothing with Super yet. So overall, what did you think of the contents of this interview? I mean, the questions, like I said, I tried really hard to come up with questions in a short period of time that were different than what most people would ask. Like, oh, you're the voice of Goku. Like, how is it? Like, like, I wanted it to be more of a conversating type of conversation, if that makes sense.
I think it was good that you didn't. This is what I think a lot of people do wrong when they interview someone. They focus too much on that individual, and what a lot of people don't want to do is become arrogant. They don't want to feel arrogant, and they don't like to speak about themselves so much. So when you ask the questions, a lot of them were directed, at how it was working with such and such, how it is working with this series. It's not really him directly. You're not asking too much about him. You're asking more about the series in general and the other characters and the other actors and things. And I think it sounded like he genuinely, even when the interview finished, it seemed like a very good ending. Usually when celebrities and actors and things speak to the media, the press, the interview doesn't really finish on a sort of, they don't really shout out who's interviewing them. They just sort of walk away and they move on to the next.
Yeah, especially without asking. We didn't even ask.
Exactly. And he even says, you don't even have to ask, because it was a very warm interview, and I think it was fantastic, man. I think he did a great job. I think.
Well, thank you.
He definitely did a good, man. And he loved it. You could tell he loved the interview.
Yeah, and that honestly, that was the main goal. We wanted to interview him with the outcome where both parties were satisfied. And I like to think that the questions we asked, that, I mean, you always want to be like, no one else has asked those ever. But I'm sure people have thought of things like that. But asking about the voice changing, like, I almost think that he appreciated those questions coming from someone like a media outlet of ourselves, because not many people think to ask questions like that. They're more interested in, I mean,
Kamehameha.
Yeah, exactly. Can you
scream?
do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? So the conversation aspect of the interview, I think, really made the interview what it was, and I think it was a good interview, and hopefully he sees this podcast and gives some of the feedback as well.
Let's hope so.
But in any case, let's get right into the movie after all that conversation. Now, we both saw the movie over here in the States and in North America. There was a theatrical run that went from the 4th to the 12th, and it was extended up to the 17th, and in some states longer, based on popular demand. And it's coming to the UK in cinemas. We didn't address that before, but it is going to be going to the UK in September. And I mean, first of all, before we even continue on, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I know that caught you off guard.
Oh man, that really caught me off guard, because I actually said in our last podcast that it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that literally, what was it, a week, 2 weeks, something like that? It's like, oh yeah, it's going to happen.
Exactly.
But it's amazing, man. Like, even though I've seen the movie, I want to see it in the cinemas, because this is a big deal. This is massive, and I'm really excited to see what the turnout is. I'm definitely not going to watch it in my local cinema. I don't know what the span of the release is going to be. But I'm going to go to the centre London, so I'm going to go right into the biggest cinema in London. I'm going to pay the full price, because I want the full experience. Because this has never happened. I've never heard of an anime, releasing in cinemas. I've never heard of it. I think one of the Studio Ghibli films, Princess Mononoke, I think that's in a cinema, but it's only in the very small family-run theaters. But this is incredible. I'm so excited. I am just so thankful. Whether it's a good movie or a bad movie, doesn't matter. Even if Battle of Gods, which I didn't like, but even if it was Battle of Gods releasing, I would go and watch it, because this is a huge leap forward. This is massive. I mean, look how big it was for you guys. Look how big it was in the US, and we've never had that. I would love to dress up and go and do this and have fun.
Yeah, and let's be real. It's going to be your first time seeing a Dragon Ball Z movie on the big screen.
Man.
Don't you wish that you didn't see the screener?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Honestly, I felt that way as soon as they were like, can you review the movie for us? And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. So
Yeah, can you can you cut it into a trailer for me, maybe? I don't really
yeah,
want to watch the whole thing.
I mean, so
But
I guess I did see the movie in theaters before I actually saw it, but it was in Japanese, so I did see that. But it's going to be your first time ever seeing a Dragon Ball Z movie in English in theaters in the UK.
I'm very, I. But the thing I'm worried about is the fans, and I think if you're listening to this and you're in the UK, I'm begging you. I'm gonna get on my knees. I'm on my knees. I'm begging you, please go to the cinema. Please go and watch this. Support it. Make it known that this is a big deal. Because I just don't want to go to the cinema and sit next to some old ladies, some kids that are going to scream and cry just because they wanted to do something this weekend and didn't have anything to do. I want to go and see passionate fans supporting an amazing series, and I want to see it. I really want to see fans. I really want to get the experience that the Americans get. So if you're English, let's do this for the English people. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Pride.
Yeah, right. That's funny. But yeah, it's coming, and I mean, it's gonna be awesome, man. And I'm excited for you. It's gonna be really cool.
Cannot wait.
You should definitely record some of like the crowds outside of the cinemas and
That's
just
what I was
post it
about to touch on.
online. And yeah,
I'm really hoping this is an invitation, by the way, Mr. Sean Schemmel, if you're listening. I will pay for your cinema ticket if you come. So don't just stay out there. I'm not going to pay, but seriously, don't just stay out there. Like, come over here. Come and like. I really want the voice actors to do it. I really would love to see all of the voice actors do a premiere event here, something big here. Not just have it release in the cinema. Not just have the movie go out. I want to have the cast. I'd love to have something like that happen.
yeah.
Like they do with the
I
movies,
wonder.
the Hollywood movies. I'd love to, because we get a lot of the Hollywood movies around here. So hopefully we can get like, the Dragon Ball Z stars walking down the red carpet having a good time.
I wonder
I
if
think it'd
they
be
will
great.
do something like that. They might. I mean,
I,
they've had premieres here. They had a few premieres here. So you never. That's a good
well,
question.
Sean says that one of his favorite Comic Cons is actually London.
Yeah.
No, is it London's? One of the British ones. He actually,
MGM, I think
Birmingham.
MGM Comic Con.
MCM.
MCM. Sorry.
Yeah, he actually mentions how it's one of his favorites to go to, and because of the British crowd, he loves a lot of the British life. He loves a lot of the things that we like and
Right.
finds it fascinating and things. So I'm very hopeful that he's going to come along, and it would be amazing because I'm in London, so I'm pretty much sure he will go to the London release, and there's only
Okay.
one big cinema that will do it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
fingers crossed.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. But anyway, so now that we got that out of the way, let's actually discuss the movie as a whole. So, and I know you have a lot of opinions on this, so let's just get right into it. What did you think from the start?
Okay. I'm gonna start, and I really want to do like a disclaimer and just say to everyone that I loved the movie. This is one of my favorite, and I love the Dragon Ball Z movies. I absolutely love them. I don't know why a lot of people hate them, but I love the Dragon Ball Z movies. All of the movies, I love them. And this, I would put it in the realm of the Fusion Reborn, with Gogeta, because that seems to be a universally accepted as like the best one. I would put it as that. I would say it's as good as that, maybe better, but there are an incredible amount of flaws from a critique point of view, which I've got so many to touch upon. I don't know if we're going to have time, but there's some key ones that really need to be addressed that I kind of am disappointed with whoever did this, whoever made this movie. I want to address something to them. I want to speak to them. There
Okay.
are some things I'm kind of annoyed with.
So let's hear it.
All right, I'll start with the first two because these are all right. Most of these points are sort of illustrating the same points, but I broke them up into little sections. But I'll group them. So I'll say like the Emperor Pilaf. I think that's his name, isn't it? Pilaf is the little guy. Okay, so you got him. Him and the Frieza's birth sequence. When he's put back together, and the Frieza's training. It is so painfully clear. And this is really annoying. It is so painfully clear that they purposely skipped those moments. And if you look, it looks as if they actually did make some more of that, but they skipped because it just seems like there's no smooth transition between them picking up Emperor Pilaf, or between Frieza actually being born, or between Frieza's training. There's no smooth transition. They just immediately skip, which tells me they've actually cut those pieces out to place them into Dragon Ball Super, which this is a movie. Like, I don't want to have to watch the series to get the movie. I want the movie to actually be the movie. I want the movie to explain everything that it should do. I don't want to have to find out what Frieza went through in his training sequence, which we're gonna obviously.
So what you're saying is you believe that the parts were cut out to be added into Super to explain it all leading up to the movie?
Definitely, I believe that
Interesting.
they're gonna. I think that they're gonna do, and I'm gonna consider this. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I'm considering this one of those cash grab schemes, which is when a company, like they did with Battle of Gods, the fight sequence on King Kai's planet.
Okay.
It was in the movie. It was done well in the movie, but they wanted to elaborate on it more in the series, which was okay because they didn't cut it from the movie, so that was okay to do that. But what they've done in this movie is they've cut these sections out, and it's just like, really? So it's basically, is this movie going to be split into the series? Like, am I going to have to watch now? Is that all Dragon Ball Super is destined to be? It's just purely filler, and then the two movies broken, because that's what Battle of Gods has become. The movie broken into a longer part. So it seems as if that's the route it's going, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't get to see these moments on screen. Even though they were small, picking up Emperor Pilaf, which is not something I really care about, but it's not something that I'm very happy with. That he was just one moment, oh, he's on the ship now, is he? Well, when did that happen? Because he just started speaking, and then he was talking to Sorbet, and I was like, what?
Yeah. No,
So-
I didn't even think about that, honestly.
It was very depressing, and obviously Frieza's training. There was a lot of moments that were skipped. The transformations were just horrible. They were, oh my goodness me! Like there was no elaboration. There was no sort of expansion upon Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. I like that they didn't say that name. I like that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I didn't get is Frieza said, "I'll just make this short and call this Golden Frieza." So, did Goku actually say Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan and then it was cut?
No. That term came out after the movie.
Okay. Because it seemed like an odd
in the original
conversation they had.
Japanese, he says something along the lines of, "It's hard to explain, but this is me as a Super Saiyan while having the power of a Super Saiyan God." And in the dub, he just says, "Let's just say I've gotten a taste of Super Saiyan God, and now I'm able to tap into that power on my own." So it's not saying, in both versions, it doesn't say Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, so neither of which are wrong.
So, would you say they're official? Or would you say it's sort of still in
It's
the...
hard to, well, that's the thing. I mean, I guess you could say all three are official, because they could all mean one thing. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. It's just the way it was said in each movie. There really isn't much of a difference, in my opinion. But
But do you agree that they should have elaborated more on the transformation? You know, it's sort of,
I mean,
you
I
can
think
just control it now? It was like, wow, really? That's a thing?
well,
There was no
yeah,
training?
I guess I mean, you could have, but the movie, it's
Do you believe
kind
it's
of
going
hard
to
to
be
do.
in the series? Do you think that they're going to
Yeah.
incorporate that into the series?
I do.
See, and that's my problem. I really don't like that. I would rather they had made a complete movie, because I mean, if you watched a Hollywood blockbuster movie and they skipped all of these moments out, I mean, people lost their shit when the Hulk could be controlled.
Yeah.
Everyone was so angry at that because it was, why? There was no elaboration. It was just, oh, he can just be calm now. So I think it ties in with this as well. They're really skipping.
So
a lot
you
of
think they
moments.
made this movie knowing that they were going to address what actually happened in the series?
Definitely, and I think that's what
Wow.
Dragon Ball Super is. I think Dragon Ball Super, not to hate on Dragon Ball Super too much, because I think it's getting more hate than it deserves. But
Yeah.
but I really think Dragon Ball Super is just filler. I think Dragon Ball Super is not filler as in not canon. I just mean filler as in it's filling out the gaps and the questions you had over both movies, because that's what it seems to be doing now with the new addition of a character called Champa, who I'm like, oh great, a fat cat, great. I'm so excited to see him. But there's plenty. I mean, this isn't all negative. I don't have all negative answers. Everything here isn't hatred. Like for example, Jacko. He was amazing. I loved him. The humor
In the movie?
Yes.
Awesome.
The humor in the movie was fantastic.
Yeah.
whoever wrote the comedy was just on point. They knew what they were doing. Everything was just amazing.
Toriyama. That was all Toriyama.
And it was so well done. But it didn't. But the thing is, it didn't feel like Toriyama's comedic style. I don't know if maybe it was like that in Dragon Ball. I don't remember Dragon Ball too much, but it was definitely a lot more. It wasn't like the old from Dragon Ball Z where they would just bang their heads or just eat a lot of food. It was like, oh, that's funny, kind of. This one actually had jokes that was really like, wow, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I see, and I thought it was all Toriyama.
Oh. Well, I'll give him credit for that. So,
well, I think you need to read Jocko the Galactic Patrolman to actually understand it.
Oh, he has something? I thought he was just a filler character as well. I thought he just fell into the mix.
No, you didn't know this?
Nope, I thought he was a character that just...
No. They introduced him through a manga called Jocko the Galactic Patrolman with the a +1 chapter, and that was with Dragon Ball Minus. And we actually have a page on the site that gives a breakdown of it all. And I actually have Jocko the manga on my phone. I only paid like $4.99 for it on Amazon Digital Books. You have to read it.
Wow.
It'll make all sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, because I had no idea. I just didn't.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like, and that was one of the moments that I was actually gonna pick on when Frieza said, "That guy's from the Galactic Alliance." I was like, okay, you're just trying to make it canon now. Which is what they were doing.
Nope, he existed. He has always existed.
Yeah, so that one definitely burns a hole in one of my theories. But the other ones, they're inexcusable. Like the whole King Cold references, the Majin Buu references, which where the hell was Majin Buu? Oh my god, that annoyed me so much. I was fuming at the end of this. I was so mad. Like, you cannot speak of a character so highly throughout the entire movie and then just completely disregard him. It was just so wrong. It was ridiculous. And I didn't like that they were trying to force this whole Frieza was hired by Beerus canon story. It really felt like they were forcing this issue on me. Like it was like, Lord Beerus! And he was all scared of Beerus and things. And I was like, yeah, dude, you're not scared of him. Like, you didn't know who he was. This is just made up story. I didn't like that. And I still to this day don't like the whole premise of Beerus. I think I really don't like... I'm not saying I don't like his character, and I'm not saying I didn't like the movie, because I enjoyed the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed the interactions between the characters. And I enjoyed hearing Frieza be like, don't fuck with Majin Buu. I kind of enjoyed that. But at the same time, I couldn't help but think to myself, yeah, I can't help but wonder if Frieza back in the day would really be like, I don't want to mess with Majin Buu. I don't think that would happen. Obviously, Majin Buu wasn't planned at the time, but I still think that you need to follow your story. Follow your story. Don't just sort of try and force canon experiences on me, because it hurts me as an old fan of the old series. It really does make me think like, so now do I have to watch Dragon Ball Z again and disregard everything I knew and felt about Frieza being this powerful tyrant? It's like, now what? Who is he now? Is he just a coward? And that 4 months training ridiculous bullshit is just ridiculous. Oh my god, I want to throw something.
See, and I love that.
Dude.
That's the one thing that I will always disagree with you. I think it's hilarious.
I can't deal with it.
Think about it. If you were born with an amazing ability and you didn't have to train to be the best, would you train?
But how did he get the forms? When did he get his 4th form then? Was he just chilling on a beach somewhere and just all of a sudden, hey, I know what I'll do today, I'll go bald, and then he just transformed? Like,
But that's the point though. Think about that. If you had this amazing ability to be as strong as you wanted to and needed to when you needed to and wanted to, without having to do anything, without having to put any effort into it, would you give effort when effort isn't needed?
But do you not feel that like it sort of makes this whole Beerus, Beerus is his kind of puppeteer. It kind of makes it stupid in a way, because surely Frieza is actually now the same power level as Beerus. Because
I don't think so.
Hear me out. Super Saiyan God, right? The pink silly Kaioken hair, which I don't like. So we got him fighting Beerus at 70%, and they were pretty equal. I wouldn't say, Goku was losing that fight. I think they were very on par with each other at the 70%, as Beerus claimed. But Goku Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, I feel would be considerably stronger than Super Saiyan God, which would put him somewhere near Beerus's max. Right? So I'm just doing this mathematics nonsense right now. But I feel he'd be closer. He'd be closing that 30% kind of gap, from the 70% power level to the 100%. So he's closing that gap now. Frieza was dominating Goku. He dominated Goku. He didn't have a scratch on his body. Whether you can say that was animation or whatever, I don't care. He didn't have a scratch on him. He was dominating that fight. So that means that surely he would be on par with Beerus. He has to be.
It's possible, but you do realize that when they were training with Beerus and Whis on Beerus's planet, or whatever it was for that matter, he said, or Whis basically said, if Goku and Vegeta fought together, they
could overthrow him.
Yeah, exactly. So with that said, if Goku were to fight him alone, he's still saying that he wouldn't beat him, no?
Exactly, but it sounds very weird because Frieza would beat Goku. I mean, this is the point. Frieza would beat Goku. Goku only won because of Frieza's weakness being, he got the new. It was sort of like the whole Vegeta's Ultra Super Saiyan and Trunks' Ultra Super Saiyan. He just kind of got this new power and just thought, I can use this.
Well, maybe that goes back to you saying, how he looked at Beerus and was like kind of in shock that he was there, where he was like, there were two people my father told me never to mess around with, Majin Buu and Beerus the Destroyer. Maybe that was just him thinking about like, okay, so I was told not to fuck with this guy, kind of thing. Like I should be afraid of him.
Do you feel like Frieza's the type of person? I mean, harking back to the old days, do you feel like he's the type of person who'd be like, okay, I won't fuck with them? I mean, it seems a bit.
Well, that's every time he sees blonde hair, blue eyes, he freaks out.
He gets scared now, yeah. But then again, he has reason to. I mean, he never saw Beerus. Well, no, sorry. Now he's seen Beerus because Beerus exists. But I can't fucking stand it, dude. They need to just wipe Beerus off. I can't stand. I also want to say Whis. Right?
Sure.
I don't think Whis is stronger than Beerus.
Really?
I don't think he is. I really don't think he is. And people are shocked, but then I mind fuck everyone when I say this, right?
Okay, let's hear it.
Whis says about his body moving without him, doing it. It just reacts to whatever's happening. So that being said, and he also said that Beerus isn't proficient at it. He's still learning. So Beerus is learning to use this. So it would make sense that Whis is his teacher. Obviously, this is one of the things he's trying to teach him to do. But because obviously, I assume Beerus is still undergoing some form of training.
Most likely.
Yeah. But at the same time, every attack Whis has ever done, apart from one moment when he pushed Goku away with like this energy thing, every single one of his attacks have always been catching someone off guard. And it was shown in this movie that when a Super Saiyan, for example, is off guard, they can be hurt. They can be killed because they don't know it's coming, and they can get killed by a simple blaster. So
I think that was just the moral of the story.
Well, that's exactly my point. I think that so basically, if you're not ready for something, if you haven't got your guard up, you are just a normal man. You are weak. You are still weak to these things.
A shot to the heart's a shot to the heart.
Yeah, and I think that's why Whis is not as strong as he's shown. I think every attack that he's ever done, he has done by catching the person off guard, and allowing his body to move without him thinking about it. So the person he's attacking doesn't have time to realize what he's actually doing. I don't think this is actually the premise of it. I don't know if
Toriyama's that would go into that.
That's
sort
my
of depth
point. I don't think he would go into it, but I think if Goku,
you're right.
example,
When he knocked Beerus out,
caught him off guard.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think if they came to physical blows, I think Beerus would come on top. But I think because he's able to just move, which really would make him invincible. If he never has to think, he's pretty much, you can never touch him. So it's amazing. His character's amazing. But okay, I'm going way off topic. But there's some more things about the movie that sort of like got me, and the sneeze, for example, the Beerus sneeze. I think I mentioned this to you.
Yeah.
Like every Dragon Ball fan picks on the Superman fans because he blew away a galaxy by sneezing. Beerus sneezed and blew up a planet. Are we not going to address that? Is that not a thing? Is that fine? Okay, he can do that. Do we just
I,
agree with it? I mean, it's...
what do you, in terms of what, like, it happened, just whatever?
Yeah, I mean, it happened. I'm sure it was a joke. It wasn't meant to be taken serious. But shit, this happened on screen, so I'm gonna say this is canon. This happened. So, like, yeah, he sneezed and blew up a planet. Can we not just say that that is bullshit then? Because if Superman can sneeze and blow away a galaxy and that's bullshit, then Beerus is bullshit. Okay, I just want to say I hate the character, so I'm just gonna pick on him.
I
Forever.
can't believe you don't like Beerus. I think his character is hilarious.
I'd like his character had he been introduced from the beginning, but because
Yeah.
he's being forced into the story, I don't like him.
Okay, understood.
That's my reason. It's not that I don't like his actual character. I think his actual character is really good. But because he's forced into the story, apart from the whole cake eating shit, I don't like that, food. I get the comedy, but I mean, I'm gonna be a real nitpick right now. But that ice cream should have melted. I'm just gonna say that ice cream should have melted a long time ago. Dude, look, Bulma addressed it to him, right? And in that time, there was a fight. There was a huge fight scene. She had it in a spaceship. Then it was half hour from Whis flying there. That was about an hour's time, okay? I just want to say it. There was an hour's time.
It should have melted.
The ice cream was done, guys.
That's
He
funny.
should have blown up the planet. It should have been done. Oh, there's one thought. Blowing up the planet. I just want to say this. Beerus can't survive in space. How do you feel, guys? I just want to address that. Beerus cannot survive in space. He panicked when Frieza blew up the planet and told Whis to be quick. He said,
Yeah.
Whis, quick. He doesn't care about the planet for a start. He's always threatening to destroy it. He doesn't care. So, why would he care about the planet? He obviously cared about himself being safe. So, and plus when they
Maybe.
fly, they
That
fly
could
with
be
a
a plot
protective
hole.
bubble.
That's
Yeah.
true. That could be a plot hole.
So I'm thinking, because he also says as well, oh yes, his race can survive in space, in a vacuum. He says, oh yes,
Correct.
his race can survive in a vacuum. So why would he specifically say that if he cannot do it too? So,
Interesting.
and plus he doesn't have instant transmission, so we know that they are limited in their abilities. They don't have the abilities that other races have. So I'm curious. I find it funny as well, and the Battle of Gods fight scene. I mean, you know what? I've spoken so much because I've still got another page, but you know what, dude?
No, continue. This is seriously. Go, keep going.
Okay, all right.
I'm listening.
Gohan. Ignoring the tracksuit, because I don't hate the tracksuit, to be honest. I don't really care about the tracksuit. I think, you know what, you train, whatever, right? He even mentions it. He says he was in a rush because they had 10 minutes. What was you going to do in 10 minutes? He had to get dressed quickly.
Yeah, well,
But,
Krillin got a haircut, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, Krillin. Oh no, it was an hour. Sorry, it was an hour. But yeah, Krillin got a haircut. So come on. But and I love that, by the way. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But yeah. Did you notice how skinny Gohan was when he was carrying the shopping at
Yes.
the beginning? That pissed me off because even Saiyan babies have muscular physiques. They're not. I mean, they have little fat tummies, but when they're about like 3 years old, I mean, like when Kid Vegeta and stuff. Alright, they had been training, but Trunks, for example, Trunks and Goten, they still had a physique to them. They weren't twigs. This was disgusting. He looked like Sonic the Hedgehog. He had those little twig things. I think that was ridiculous. I can't believe they've done that to Gohan. I'm really pissed that they've done this to the character who I thought was the best character in all of the series. I'm really quite pissed, and I feel bad for Kyle because he has fun doing the character, and he must feel bad, surely. Like, he's got to look at this character and think, he was once a reputable character. He was an amazing character, and now I'm voicing this pansy.
Do you really think so? I wouldn't think that of Kyle. I think he loves the character as he is.
Do you not think like he would be a little bit critical, like as we are, because we're very critical of Gohan's kind of change? I understand he's a family man, so he wouldn't be training. That's fully understandable. So him getting weaker or anything like that, I would totally be on board with because he's a family guy. He's not going to be training. But it's the fact that his physique changed drastically into this horrible anorexic child. It was just really... And Piccolo as well. Was he not training? Gohan's stronger than Piccolo in this.
Yeah.
No way! That's unbelievable. I do not believe for a second that Piccolo would never train. I do not believe that for a second. Piccolo should be on par with Super Saiyan 3. At least.
I don't know about that.
Well, you got to think of how strong he was in the Cell Saga. He was stronger than Super Saiyan. So he must have considerably got considerable stronger. I don't know. He's got to be strong, surely. He's got to be stronger than he is.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know about that. That's always up for debate.
it's very hard. I think while we're midway into this, I've just got to say, like, I totally get that this movie was made for fans. This is totally a fan. You can see that this movie was made for fans because it wasn't made to be. I don't think this movie was made to be serious, like a serious story development. It was clearly because it was like Frieza was born then dead in the same movie, so it's clear that this was just put in to be exciting for the fans. So I fully get that some of these won't be serious points. I'm just taking them as if this movie was the whole series. So that's why I'm critiquing it so harsh. I'm not looking at the bigger picture. I'm just looking at this sort of bracket that we had an hour and a half. That's why I'm being very critical because I know someone's probably listening to this right now and thinking, "Yeah, dude, you're a bit too much." But yeah. So I mean, that's the first page. I'm just gonna throw that out of the way now. Oh, the fusion. Sorry, the fusion. They hint at the fusion, don't they? They at the beginning.
A couple times.
Yeah, a couple of times. They say, we says if you work together. And then you could think of that being teamwork, but no, because Vegeta says, we tried that once before, I'll never do that again. Obviously speaking about Vegeta.
Correct.
And then at the end of the movie, Goku goes to address Vegeta, and then Vegeta's like, I don't want to hear about this, something like teamwork or working together. And then Goku responds with like, I'm glad you feel the same way, ha ha ha. And he's like laughing, which makes me feel that, is this never going to happen? Is that the developers and the creators saying to us, yeah, Fusion's done. Like, they didn't like Fusion, we're never doing it again. Because if that's so, I'm pissed off, because Vegeta was the best thing to happen to Dragon Ball Z, and Gogeta would be even better. So
I don't think that they're just writing it off. I don't.
They better not.
I think it's just them establishing, their position with their pride.
Mm.
They'll never admit to each other that they need each other to win.
And hopefully this new... Oh no, because Champa's going to come before Frieza, isn't he? So
Correct.
So yeah, it probably won't happen there. But that's a shame. It's a shame to think that might happen. Positive note, I have another positive. Yay! Roshi. Man, Roshi was awesome. I was
Have
so
you ever
happy.
seen you've never seen Dragon Ball, have you?
I have, but I didn't watch it. Like I was a very young kid. I used to watch it when I used to collect the Dragon Ball trading cards, so you can imagine that's like 97, 98. But yeah, I don't remember anything really about it. I remember the main points like the Piccolo and Goku fight, the Tien fight, and teaching the Kamehameha and things like that. But I don't remember too much. But it was very nice to see just him being the original Roshi. He come on screen and he's like, he just powers up. He does the Kamehameha. He does the one-handed Kamehameha. That was amazing. Like, I was so excited. And I love that he was on par with all... I could be a critic right here and just say, yeah, he wouldn't be on par with the soldiers, but I'm not going to pick on that because it was amazing. I thought he was spectacular, so I'm not going to pick on that.
No, he did a good job.
There was good moments. Like, there was really throughout... leading up... It's hard to critique this movie because I loved it so much. I loved it so much, but I have so many negative points and so many things that make me want to sort of break into an angry rant and just get real mad about it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you established at the beginning that, let's be clear, you loved the movie.
Yeah.
But when listening to negatives, it always seems to far outweigh no matter what you say beforehand because it is a negative.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to watch it a second time and pick up on my negatives, but I don't want you to think that it will ruin it for you because I've watched it again and again, and it hasn't ruined it for me those other times. It's made it better. It's still just as enjoyable as it was. Though I have a real gripe with the music choice for Frieza's birth, if you want to
well, the music placement in general, to me, was a mistake. But
I'm a big fan of rock and metal music. I listen to Disturbed, Avenged Sevenfold, the other rock bands. But to hear that scream music, and it was just so off-key, it did not fit what was happening on screen.
Well, the name of the song is F by Maximum the Hormone. And the song is literally about Frieza. And that song was Toriyama's inspiration for the film.
Toriyama listened to that?
Yep.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Wow. He must do a lot of drugs.
If
seriously, that was...
Did you hear the chorus? It's like, Frieza, 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 Frieza.
I don't think I did.
Yeah.
Because all I could hear was like I sort of zoned out when it was on. I was like, there was a bit that sounded good. It like midway there was like a little bit. I was like, this sounds good when he wasn't screaming, and all of a sudden it was like, rah, rah, rah. And I was like, whoa, dude, this is.
They're saying Frieza. It's literally the name of the song. Like I said, F, Maximum the Hormone, about Frieza, and that song was Toriyama's inspiration for the film.
Wow, I'm gonna listen to that after. I need to. I'll probably like it now
Yeah.
that I know that. I'm probably gonna listen to it. And go, yeah, this is amazing. This is the best song ever.
Yeah, it's a heavy metal rock band in Japan.
Wow, that's and I actually do like some Japanese like a headbang. There's a song called Headbanger. I actually like it. It's quite good. Okay. Another positive. I got another positive. I'm sorry, I'm taking up all of your talking time. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just.
No, don't. Seriously, I honestly, this is more about you than it is about me because I've seen it and discussed this before. So,
All right, I feel good now. Um, all right. Well, Vegeta's intrusion. I loved it. I didn't like that Vegeta was sidelined again. I think every fan hates that, and we're sick of it. But Vegeta's intrusion into the fight when he broke in and just started wailing on Goku, I loved it. That was so amazing.
it was awesome. Yeah, it was
It
good.
was so, and I love that Frieza was sort of like throughout the entire fight, he believed Vegeta was on his
He was
side.
just ignorant. It was stupid. Like that. See, to me, that was stupid. Like, really? Oh, you're still loyal to me? Like, shut up. Like,
I kind of
come
liked it
on.
because Frieza's been dead for so long. I would think Frieza would be in the frame set that Vegeta's still at war with Goku, so that's why they're both here.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Like if
That
he
makes
just saw them together, he'd be thinking, "Oh, these two are still fighting, really?" Like, and then he'd be wondering, "Oh, Goku obviously didn't kill him because he has a good heart, so Vegeta's still weak and blah blah blah." Then he finds out he's a Super Saiyan, and then he's kind of pissed. But that that annoyed me so much. Why give Vegeta such a big build up? Make him this, amazing sort of. He gets this amazing line as Vegeta does. He gets the awesome "I'm gonna pound you into oblivion" type thing. But then what happens? He's never true. He never holds to his promises. He steps up. He hits him like once or twice. I don't know how many times he hits him. I was blinked and I missed it. It was like, oh, Vegeta's on the floor now. Then he does his big scream that sort of reminds me of Kid Buu, Majin Buu, like, "Rah!" And then you're like, oh, Vegeta's about to kill him. This is gonna be amazing. Kill him, Vegeta. I'm begging you. And then fucking turn the time back. Are you kidding me? Like, that was the biggest foreshadow I've ever seen in any movie in my life. I've never seen, at the beginning of the movie, he mentions he can time travel, and I was like, yep, here we go. That's how he's going to save the day. I just knew it. I was like, that's what's going to happen. You foreshadowed so hard, and what a bullshit ability. I like that it was.
But don't you think that that tied in with the whole moral of the story?
Man, like the moral of the story is, they're really touching on the fact that Goku is ignorant, Vegeta is sort of too proud and stuff. But they ignored Vegeta. This was all Goku. This entire movie was Goku. Admittedly, it was all Goku needs to learn a lesson type thing. That's all it was. Again, which I'm getting
Yeah,
sick of.
the lesson was no matter how big and how strong you are, if you're not paying attention and you're caught off guard, you're still beatable.
Yeah, and also, don't be so naive as to think someone's going to change or someone's because he kept offering the helping hand to Frieza,
Yeah.
and Frieza was also foreshadowing. He was saying throughout his trip towards Earth, he was mentioning that that blasted Saiyan. Well, he's probably saying that cunt of a Saiyan 'cause he's swearing a lot. But he was, but he was like, yeah, that Saiyan showing mercy and it makes me sick and all this. And I was like, oh yeah, you're foreshadowing. Here we go. Goku's not going to kill you. Then Goku kills him, but in the most cheap way ever. It's unbelievable. But it's very. Man, I'm being so critical of this. I feel so bad.
It's not bad, man. You gotta have some of your gripes, you know.
It feels like I'm griping a lot. It feels like I'm being very harsh on every point, but I have to illustrate in this point that it's an amazing movie, and I thoroughly believe I'm going to go watch it. I'm going to own the DVD. I truly love this movie, but there are things that I have to pick on as a fan just to show you that I'm still a human. I'm not blinded by this fanboy vision. I'm still going to look at it and be like, these things need to change. Not showing Majin Buu, I think, is the biggest mistake I've ever seen ever. I hope to God in the Dragon Ball Super they say, well, Majin Buu had his period or something. He couldn't be there. He better have a damn good reason, dude. Because
Oh man.
like there was no reason why they built him up, and also in Battle of Gods, Beerus didn't even know who the fuck Boo was. He was just like, oh, give me some of your cake or whatever it was. I was like, you're aware that's Majin Buu, right? Like you should kind of be a little concerned, maybe, because surely like Super Buu, for example, is sort of up there with Beerus. He's gotta
Yeah.
be.
And
But
Frieza was aware of who Majin Buu was.
yeah, and it seems like a lot of
So that
points.
means that Beerus should have been at least somewhat aware.
Yeah, and it leaves a lot of holes for them to fill in Dragon Ball Super, which is understandable. They want to push it, but I don't think Dragon Ball Super is going to last. I think it's just going to be done. We'll touch on that in a minute, because I know you have different opinions on that as well. But yeah, like okay, I mean, I'm actually coming to the end of my points. I did mention the Goku God matching 70% Beerus, and it's like he should be stronger. Like well, Frieza at least should be stronger than Beerus by now. But okay, so oh yeah, Sorbet's death. I thought that was great. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
I thought
Just
that was so
the
classy.
deflection.
Yeah, I thought that was so classy, and I just thought, yeah, this is why I love Vegeta. He comes in and he does shit. He gets it done. I was really hoping. I don't know if anyone else was when they were watching this. I don't know if you were. But when Frieza was like, "Shut up, you cow," or something, he just shouts at Bulma, and I was like, please, Vegeta, punch him in the face right there. Just don't even cut to Vegeta. Just have a fist wailing on Frieza's face at that moment. Like,
Yeah, that would have been cool.
that would have been a stat. Because that was at the point when he was trying to seduce Vegeta into killing Goku. And they cock teased. I was like, yeah, but he's not going to. Okay, I'm not going to lie, alright? I'm not going to lie. I did kind of have like a, is Vegeta actually going to do this? Like, I was kind of like, is he contemplating this? Like, I knew he wasn't going to, but at the same time, there was one moment while he was talking to him. I was like, I think it was the moment when he offered him the role.
Yeah, where his like whole complexion changed.
Yeah, and he was like, "Are you serious? Is that a serious offer?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, are you gonna take it?" But oh man, and then Beerus, if Beerus would have stepped in, that would have been awesome. I would have loved to have seen Beerus go up against Frieza at some point. Yeah, so I mean, I'm actually at the end of my point. So I got one more point, which is I mean, I've already said it, which was Beerus panicking about the planet exploding, which I still got to mention it. Like, so he cannot really survive in space. It's kind of a shock to me. I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah.
I would
No, it makes sense. I didn't even think of that either, but that is true. And the way they showed it, it's just like, Whis now.
Yeah, and also when they fly, Whis puts a bubble around them when they fly, so it's when they fly through space. So it must be clear. I'm very shocked. I'm incredibly shocked that he can't. So you can destroy a planet and kill him. That's amazing to think about.
Yeah, essentially so. Yeah, that's true.
It's
That is interesting.
but I did like what Frieza did. I did like Frieza exploding the planet. Even though I hated the reverse time thing, I think if the movie was longer, they would have sort of found a way to get Dragon Balls and do something else to kill him, which I would have preferred to reversing time. I feel that was a cop out. But I loved that Frieza actually did. Fuck this, I'm blowing it up. Like, I'm not doing what I did on Namek. I'm not just gonna go here and just leave it to burn for a 3-hour fight. I'm gonna just obliterate this planet, and I loved it. The fight was too short. I gotta say, the fight was too short. These are my big problems. Right, I'm just gonna say my fight is too short, and the transformations were terrible. It was too quick. There was no drama in them. They just sort of transformed. That was it. It was done. I was like, wow, okay, cool. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Jacko, the drawing.
Oh yeah.
That was incredibly funny.
Here's a little sketch.
Oh my god, that's fucking awesome, boys. That was great. He was definitely the best character. I loved him in there. I thought he was standout feature.
Honestly, that when I talk about mine, because I'm gonna make it short because we're running on fairly long. But
yeah.
What I wanted to just talk about for the most part was Jocko and his character, and how it's just, I read the manga, and Jocko I don't think that they could have picked a better English voice actor to do his part, because he was cocky, he was confident, he was kind of timid, and you can see that he was, confident and cocky, but also at the same time he knew his limits. Like, what did he say? He's like, suicide missions are like, I don't even remember what he said.
The galactic thing as a strict rule against suicide missions.
Yeah, like that's funny, you know? Like clearly he's frightened. And then he was like, "So, you think I can get a picture with Beerus?" like that's just funny, man.
It's your funeral.
Yeah. Yeah, never mind. But no, it was good. And then he's like, he did like the whole backflip, and then he's like, bang with the guns.
Stunts. Yeah. That was great, and like he dived in the water and things. He just made them all smash into the
yeah. But
it was a really
no, it was good. Now I'm trying to think of my biggest complaints for the movie because I really did like it. I definitely say it is in my top 5. I'd probably say honestly it's so new that it's hard to say it's not number 1 because I can go back and watch all of them and say, you know what, this is number 1, this is number 1. So right now, this is number 1 for me at this moment in time. It's my favorite movie right now. So going back and looking on things, I don't know, I'd have to re-look at it, but I definitely enjoyed it a lot. Now, I think in terms of the movie itself, I don't really have many complaints in terms of the dub. It's just the movie itself. The music placement threw me off. I don't think the music was placed properly. The type of music, it's just what we're stuck with now. It's Norihito Sumitomo, who composed Battle of Gods and is doing Super as well as the, Majin Buu Arc of Kai. So we're stuck with that. It's just, I think the placement could have been better. The theme songs were kind of just thrown into the mix at random times. I didn't like that. I think the fight with Gohan, Piccolo, and all of them, I think it was too quiet. I think there should have been more music then.
Yeah.
But that's my biggest complaint. Now, the other things that I would say that I didn't necessarily like was there were too many gaps between the fight and the side conversations. Like they were fighting, and then they would go up, and you'd be seeing Bulma and everyone else on the sidelines, and it was
strawberries and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like to me, they should have focused more on the fight when the fight was actually happening, because the fight scene wasn't very long, but it's definitely a dramatic increase from Battle of Gods. But I actually think you saw more of the fight in Battle of Gods than you did in Resurrection F. There was more fight screen time for the fight.
Definitely. Well, the fight in Battle of Gods was just one sequence, wasn't it? It was just they followed the fight with it was sort of as if we had like a flyby camera following them. But
yeah,
on this
the CG.
One, they really just sort of said, "Nah, we're just gonna keep going dialogue."
So it was your typical DBZ though. It was just like your dialogue, just staring at each other. Now, I think my favorite part of the movie was the 1-inch punch.
I liked it on its own, but I don't really think I liked it in the movie.
Really?
Really,
wow.
I didn't.
I'm
I said this to you
surprised.
before. I said this was like my favorite part. I told you that I thought it was amazing when I saw it in, the trailer or the clips that I had seen prior to the release and things. But yeah, once I saw it in the actual fight itself, I was like, it was obviously the turning point. You saw this was the moment when Goku had the upper hand now.
Yeah.
But so I like that they sort of did it that way. They put it there like that. But it wasn't. It's because it wasn't surrounded by anything epic. It was like that was the moment, and then nothing else happened. Like,
right.
Here's the really epic moment. He's punched him, and then it was just like, and now what? And it was like nothing else happened. So I was very disappointed with it. I would have liked to have seen it happen in conjunction with other things. Like he does the punch and then just beats the shit out of him. But no,
Right.
we just got the punch and then that was it. It was just done.
I just liked the symbolism there. It was just, just the 1-inch
Hey,
punch
it's
is
Bruce Lee, it's
iconic.
just-
Bruce Lee, yeah, exactly. It's an iconic punch, and he threw that in there, which was great, why I liked it. But I think the CG was a big step up from Battle of Gods. I really liked the sequence where he was like gliding on the water, dodging the energy blasts.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was really interesting.
Animation was much better. The whole everything was better.
Yeah,
Everything.
the animation director was Tadayoshi Yamamuro, and he is, he's one of the guys who was in the the Dragon Ball Z series itself, and he's well respected and very good at what he does. And I think he was the right choice for this, and he did a great job. Now, it's hard to come up with a lot of the things that I didn't like because I really did enjoy the movie. And like you did touch on a lot of the things that could be critiqued on, but it's not something that I would actually go looking for unless I actually looked at it in the way you were, because I looked at it from a review standpoint, as in, all right, continuity, how was the animation. Like I didn't go into in depth saying, interesting, he can't survive in space and blah 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 blah. So it was more or less like, was it good or was it bad? Like, where did it fall on the scale of 1 to 10? And I gave it an 8.5, and most of it was because of the music placement, like some awkward CG at times. But there wasn't much there for me to complain about. But I'll say one thing: when they first came to Earth and he first transformed, when Frieza went to his final form right off the bat, I didn't like how they looked so frightened and shocked right off the bat, but Goku manhandled him in base form. I just think that was over-exaggerated a lot.
Yeah, it was...
It was more of a, like, after the fact, it was more of a surprise that, wow, he got really strong really fast. But they didn't even make it look like, oh, you know what, he got strong, but what the hell? In base form, I'll still be able to run circles around him, you know?
They definitely tried their hardest to illustrate just how powerful Goku is compared to his son and Piccolo and everything. Because in base form, and as we know from previous with Frieza, unless he transforms into his next stage, you cannot measure his power, because his power is relative to his stage. And, Gohan and Piccolo, like, he's in a whole new league. And it's like when he's in his base form and he just obliterates Gohan, just one punches him straight in the stomach and just kills him essentially. Piccolo has to do some weird Jesus thing and save him. but like, I don't know what he did. Put some clothes on his heart or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he just jump started. Yeah.
But it was weird that base form Frieza was so much stronger than even final form Frieza from way back in the day, because obviously Gohan and Piccolo should be able to, as you say, manhandle Frieza. But yeah, then he transforms into his final form. He should be pretty OP. But again, Goku is more OP and just bullies him, just throws him around. There's nothing Frieza can do. And then he transforms.
Frieza should have been stronger, I think.
Well, you know what? I think he should have been weaker, because 4 months training, I just find it ridiculous, because there's been like 12 years or something has passed, probably longer than that. And I just find it funny. I just think that the power levels between each one of his forms, obviously he didn't transform each one, but there should have been more. They should have been closely sort of measured. I don't know. Like, his base form shouldn't have been as OP as it was. Being as OP as it was, his final form should have been even more ridiculous. It should have been stronger than Goku on that basis. But I still find it hilarious how powerful he got in such a short time. I think, dude, like, if you trained for like 1 more month, you could have overpowered Beerus. Like, what the fuck? So it's very fun. I like the joke as well that he makes. He's like, when he says, if I train for 4 months, I can get my power level up to 1,500,000, something like that. I was like, that's funny. I think power levels are bullshit.
Power levels. Here we go again.
Oh boy.
But let's cut this up for let's take this to a close for the main topic. Unless you have more to add, but what would you rate this on the scale of 1 to 10?
What are we grading it by? Are we grading it by blockbuster movies? Because I'd put it very low.
No, just overall Dragon Ball Z picture. I mean, if this was the only movie you've ever seen, and you wanted to give it the scale of 1 to 10.
If it was the only movie I'd ever seen, I wouldn't be as much of a harsh critic as I've been. If it was the only movie I'd seen, I'd give this like right up there with 8.5, 9, something. It would definitely be something that would make me want to watch the series. Being the fan of the original, like the Frieza saga itself, I'm going to ignore the other sagas. So the Frieza saga itself, and then watching this movie, I'd give it around I'd say an 8, a strong 8. I wouldn't really go higher than an 8, just a strong 8. It's a good movie. It was a good movie, but that being said, I'd probably give like Fusion Reborn like a 10, and then I'd say, well, this is better than Fusion Reborn, so I don't know. My grading system's all over the place. I'd say this is it's well above average. Put it that way.
I gave it an 8.5 in my review, so I'm gonna stay with that as well. But before we end this podcast, I did promise a bunch of people on Twitter. I'm sorry, not Twitter, on Instagram that we would address some questions. But I'm not exactly sure how long this is going to turn out to be. I'm thinking it's going to be around an hour and a half. Okay, so the first question I want to address it's kind of an interesting question, and I'm sure a lot of people would ask this too, maybe. I don't know. But this one was asked by Nick Luna 58 in all caps. That's why I'm answering this. Why didn't Vegeta get to go the fuck in on Frieza? That is not fair. Only makes sense that Vegeta killed the bastard who murdered his father and his race and lied to him as well as used him for years. Yet Goku still got to go in. Not cool, man. Not fucking cool.
I like that guy.
And I added that last fucking to make it more interesting.
I like that guy. I like him. I want to be his friend.
My response to this is watch Kai. Watch Kai.
I think I need to watch Kai now. Damn.
But Vegeta didn't get to go in on Frieza because the story didn't call for it. But for the rest of that question, watch Kai. And then tell me whether or not Vegeta got used. And whether or not Frieza murdered his father. And I say that because you'll find out sooner or later on Dragon Ball Super what actually happened. Anyway, the next question is from Submortal Wookie. They never explained why their hair is blue. I know they're Super Saiyan God, but didn't they have red hair in Battle of Gods? Is this a new level or a just mastered Super Saiyan God? This is actually it is a new form in a weird way because it's explained as it being able to tap into God mode with their at will, but you hear it described in different ways. For example, this is a Super Saiyan God with the power of a Super Saiyan. So what they're calling this term that wasn't mentioned in the film, they're calling it Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. So I hope that answers your question. This question says, how did Vegeta go Super Saiyan God, or Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan? Sorry. We don't know. It's just through training with Beerus and Whis, presumably. I'm going to just answer this last one, and you could chime in on this too if you want. This is by 318 Chase. Your opinion on why Vegeta is neglected as a character. I mean, I love Goku, but it seems as Vegeta gets no respect at all. Go ahead, why don't you address that?
I fully agree with him. I think Vegeta's getting no respect. I think he needs more respect. They're damaging his character. Personally, I think they're hurting his character. Given what we've seen in Dragon Ball Super and in Battle of Gods, I don't like I understand why they did, but in this movie, this was the perfect opportunity for Vegeta to take some of his power, his aggression, his hatred, and to just fight, to just go all out and just kill Frieza and things. And he only got 2 minutes of screen time. I think he's being neglected as a character, and it's upsetting to see it because he's always been neglected as a character. And I think that's a common trend with Dragon Ball. Is anything that's always been will always be. I think whatever has been will always continue to be that way. In terms of like the fighting styles, the character developments, how the characters grow, everything, it's all going to be the same. Which is, don't expect Vegeta to have any sort of, victory, so to speak, because he's never had one, and I don't think he's ever going to. I think it's always going to be this. He has his good moment, but then he's ultimately not the winner, per se. And it's upsetting. But we get to see some badass moments from Vegeta, which are nice, and they are obviously highlights of movies and of the series. Whenever Vegeta does something, it's like, yeah, this is the standout feature. But I also like to think from another perspective as well. If I step out of my shoes and think about it, would you like to see Vegeta constantly dominating? Is that something you'd actually like, or is it the fact that he only gets those small moments that makes him the epic character he is? So I think you got to think of it like that as well. I think if he came out and destroyed everything and just, tore up the fight, maybe it wouldn't be as awesome as it is. So, yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah. I just, in my opinion, I think there's two ways of looking at it. One, Vegeta did get his moment to shine, and two, it was too short. And I'm kind of on the fence up with both of those because I thought that the amount of screen time Vegeta got was lacking because he was sidelined. But I think that his character in this movie was actually most revealed upon. That, not for anything, Goku isn't the only one who is at this level now. Vegeta's got this level, so I think it's a sign of good things to come. But I lied. I want to address one more because I just read it, and I have to. I've never actually spoken about this publicly and addressed this, so here we go. This is from Drake_Mason. I think Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is weaker than Super Saiyan God. It explains that they can utilize some Super Saiyan God power whenever they want, but not anywhere near of all of it. So, Super Saiyan God is just a regular Super Saiyan that is usually utilizing that small amount of Super Saiyan God power. In Battle of Gods, Goku and Beerus got to use 70% of his power with only Super Saiyan God. But in Resurrection F, it's made clear that if Goku and Vegeta work together, then only then could they match Beerus. That would obviously not be when they are both gods. Like I said, Goku alone made Beerus use a majority of his power. What do you think of this? I keep seeing this. And
I just want to say that the Super Saiyan God, the pink hair one that we saw, that is a power boost. That is like a power up. But the controlling of that power is what we get with Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. That is when they control it and they calm their state and they become... It's sort of that moment, that moment between gaining the power and learning to harness it. It's that crossover, I think. I don't think Super Saiyan God is really a thing. I just think that's sort of like a power boost. You've collected everyone's power and you've gained this super form that you've got, but you haven't transformed, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to really get an answer to it, to be honest. We'd have to see how Akira chooses to elaborate on it in the series. But I definitely believe that Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is stronger, to be honest.
Yeah, so do I.
It's kind of made clear that this is a new form. They kind of illustrate that it's a new thing. This is the power, and the way Goku says it, he says himself that this is the power of a Super Saiyan God, but I've learned to harness it. I've learned to control it, and so I think it's very. I think there's always going to be mixed opinions, but I don't think it's considerably stronger. I wouldn't say it's like in a whole new level, like going from base to Super Saiyan. I think they are very closely tied. Perhaps in a way of saying the Golden Uzaru to the Golden Great Ape to Super Saiyan 4. They're just very closely tied, but one's just a power boost and one's the actual form. So I think that's sort of like that.
To me, it's just that question is it's a weird question, and I don't think that it would be a question if these numbers were thrown into the mix of the 70% power, blah, 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 because Goku is clearly stronger now, so 70% of his power then might just be 30% of his, or that could be, he could have made up that extra 30% in the time of this movie, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you don't know what 70% is now as compared to what it was in Battle of Gods. So I don't think I really don't think that the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is weaker than Super Saiyan God. To me, I think it'd be silly to illustrate something and purposely make it weaker after we saw this new form achieved in Battle of Gods. So I'm going to have to disagree with that. I don't believe that state is weaker than Super Saiyan God. So
yeah, they wouldn't go backwards. I really doubt that they would.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be a silly. It would be a silly move.
I agree.
So, yeah.
But anyway, that's all I got, man. Do you have anything else to add? We had a pretty good conversation. It's been a long one, so hopefully people actually sit down and listen to it. I'm going to try and chop it up and make it a little bit shorter for that matter. So
there is one question I've just seen I really want to get.
Sure.
I promise I'm going to close it after this. So
Sure.
I just want to address this one. This is by Carter98. I'm not sure if it's a he or she because I can't see the image, but my eyesight is terrible. But how is Vegeta Super Saiyan God 2 or Super Saiyan? Okay, punctuation, guys. But yeah, so how is Vegeta Super Saiyan God 2 if he couldn't even go Super Saiyan 3? This is not a following trend. This is a complete Super Saiyan gods are completely different to the transformations that they undergo
Correct.
through their Super Saiyan lives.
It's more of a spiritual transformation.
Godly. Yeah, this is something different. This is godly power. So it's something a lot different from what they attain through their standardized training. So don't expect to be seeing. Personally, I don't think we're ever going to see Super Saiyan 3 from Vegeta.
Just in video games.
Yeah, just in like video games and stuff. I don't think it will ever happen in the series. So
No,
I wouldn't
me either.
expect to see it. It'd be nice, don't get me wrong, but again, I don't think it will ever happen. Unfortunately. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's all I got, man. So, before we close it out, why don't you tell everyone where they could find you online, because you do a lot of work with art and whatnot. So why don't you just give everyone a idea of where you could be found and what you do and where you're located.
Alright, you can find me at ADC Art Attack, and I am at Instagram and Twitter under the same name, and I'm now also on YouTube under the same name. And I probably said that really weird, YouTube, I don't know. But I'm on YouTube under ADC Art Attack, so yeah, you can see me do tutorials. You can come watch me on twitch.tv, same again, ADC Art Attack. I'm all over the place, I'm everywhere. Come and see me. And yeah, I do tutorials and I paint things and do stuff. So yeah.
Very cool. And as always, this has been the Dragon Ball Insider podcast. We could be found at our website at dragonballinsider.com, and we're also on Instagram at Dragon Ball Insider and on Twitter at DB Insider. And we also have another Twitter handle, iTweetDBZ. We have Facebook, Google+. We may start utilizing YouTube, but maybe that's for the future. But that's all I got for today, guys. Anthony, it's been awesome talking with you about this movie. I think we could both, it's safe to say that when it comes out in a theater in the UK, you should definitely see it. Support the official release. It's probably very tempting to pirate and torrent, things, but you know, it's just.
Yes, definitely. Let's illustrate that point. I've just lost my voice. Sorry, guys, but let us just illustrate that. Do not pirate this movie, and if you do pirate this movie, please go and watch it in the cinemas. Please do that, because if you watch it, it is going, even if you've seen it 10 times, watch it, because the more you watch this, the more demand they are going to put on the other companies to get the licensing to bring more to the UK. So please, if you're in the UK, watch it. I'm begging you. Please go and watch it.
Absolutely.
Please.
There's a reason it made over almost 8.5 million here in North America.
And that's why they're going to get the next movie, and we need to get the next one too. So come on, guys.
Absolutely. But once again, DragonBallInsider.com. If come say hello to us. Stop by, drop by our contact form. We always are answering questions and taking emails. So we hope to bring you more content soon. We're always updating the website, and we want to try to get on a more regular schedule of this podcast because we're extremely sporadic when we do it. But we hope you enjoyed. We had a great conversation. Anthony, it's always a pleasure talking with you. And with that said, thanks for listening. Hope everyone enjoyed. And until next time, thanks again.
Challenge, you're on the wall.
Okay, so like I said before, we have a lot of news, and actually, I lied. We don't have a lot of news. So the news you know what? Fuck that. Let me restart.
I was thinking you're gonna restart this one.
Yeah, I'm like, no, fuck it. Okay, so we are only going to go through a little bit of the news. It's not like, oh my god, fuck! Dude, I'm like, I can't breathe. I swear.
You're looking for a good time, honey.